Oh! Oh! What? Was that all a dream too? Is everything a dream? What is real? Generic control, and the That Goes Me here, back with another kill count reaction. Today we're doing a Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984 and a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 from 1985. Crazy that these came out in back-to-back years. I have never seen any of these movies. I guess my Freddy Krueger knowledge comes from a pair of Nike Dunks that are very famous, if you know about those, and the Death Battles and like the Freddy vs. Jason video that I think Nostalgia Critic covered a couple years ago that I reacted to. So I'm going into this almost completely blind. You check out my reaction to last week's video, which was It Chapter 1 Part 1 and 2. I'll leave it right up there. Also be linked down below in the description. Also to place my channel with all my other kill count reactions going in chronological order. If you want to binge watch do all of those. So yeah, no, I'm going in this completely blind. I believe he's the guy that like attacks people in their dreams, right? And he wears like green and red stripes. My knowledge of that comes from the Nike Dunks. If you know about the Freddy Krueger Nike Dunks, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're a very, very famous and sought after shoe. But I'm excited to learn about this. Hopefully I don't have to blur much because of copyright. I know in the last video I had to do quite a lot. I'm sorry about that. I have no choice. Shout out to patrons. They got all the videos a day early. Could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month to get you all my reaction videos a day early. Could not do this without them. Literally could not do this without them. And I do read all our comments. Leave them down below. Also, we're approaching 100,000 subscribers, which is a crazy milestone. But let's go ahead and jump into a Nightmare on Elm Street. All right. Now I'm going into this almost completely blind. I have seen Freddy vs. Jason by Nostalgia Critic and
all our favorite
Death Battles that Freddy Krueger.
And today, my friends, today is a very special day because we're looking at a Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 monster written and directed by Wes Craven that gave the world
Wes Craven.
Freddy Krueger. Throughout the years, Fred Krueger and his sweater-wearing, finger-knife-tearing, dreaming parent self has become one of the most recognizable figures in all of pop culture. And it's not surprising, given the franchise's run of 9 films, including a crossover and a reboot, 2 seasons of the TV show Freddy's Nightmares, a video game of his own, as well as a character in many others, and all other sorts of appearances in pop culture. But the other thing that makes the Springwood slasher so memorable is that he's not just a guy in a mask played by mostly interchangeable actors. Freddy is given life and a huge personality by the classically trained Robert Englund, who portrayed the character in every film appearance until the remake. Although the series would eventually spiral out of control with a messy mythos and a completely cartoon-like Freddy, none of that can take away from the stunning accomplishment that is Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. With all that in mind,
why am I getting a bunch of Xbox notifications right now? Okay.
The movie begins with some picture-in-picture shots of a dude hard at work. What you got there, disembodied hands? A couple of knife blades, an old leather glove. Well, you make do with what you have, and voila, we've got the finger knife glove, the most iconic murder weapon in horror history. Title card on Elm Street. Right off the bat, we're in a dream, which is pretty obvious since nightgowns aren't your usual boiler room apparel. Also, there's a sheep. Our ill-dressed protagonist is Tina Gray, and she's being tormented by a fella wearing those Pinterest murder gloves. Better run as fast as you can, Tina. No, like run, for real.
Is it supposed to be like running your dream for apparently you don't
jumps
really
up behind her, but then she wakes up from her dream.
I never remember my dreams.
How could that have just been a dream if her nightgown got torn like that? Tina grabs her crucifix for comfort as we're introduced to Springwood's newest sensation, the Jump Rope Girls, in their glossy premiere music video.
Why does the one kid just hugging the dodgeball?
Tina and her friends are jamming out to that track when they pull up to go to school the next day. What, they just get to park right there?
Hopefully I don't have to blur anything. If I do, I have no choice.
About her nightmare, with Nancy confiding she had one too when they're joined by Rod Lane.
I had a heart on this morning when I woke up, Tina. Had your name written all over it.
There's 4 letters in my name, Rod. How could there be room on your joint for 4 letters?
Oh, cool. Teenage characters that are funny and likable. Thanks as always, Wes Craven. Nancy tells Tina not to worry because everyone has bad dreams once in a while. And Glenn's like, yeah, one time I dreamt that I grew up and starred in a movie called Mordecai. Then he runs off to go practice his pirate swagger and eccentric voices. That night, when they're all hanging out at Tina's place, she and Nancy learn that both their dreams feature the same long fingernailed freak.
Actually, they were more like finger knives or something.
Oh,
finger knives.
Finger knives. Friggin' know-it-all. Want to tell me what they sound like, too?
Oh, wow.
Glenn's skeptical that they dreamt of the same dude, but then they hear that scream coming from out back. They go outside, and Glenn makes the least
Why are they so
I've ever
close
heard.
to him?
I'm gonna punch out your ugly lights, whoever you are.
And then gets friggin' sacked by Rod, who's there to bang girls and style his pompadour. And he's all out of pomade.
So what's going on here? An orgy or something?
Rod the type of guy to make screeching noises
3
with
people.
a garden tool and pull a fucking switchblade on another dude. But Tina's still down to bone him anyway. Glenn tries to get into the action too, but Nancy ain't having it because she's a good girl. So he just has to lie there at night with his aching blue balls and listen to the loud ass moaning going on from upstairs, where Rod bangs the grammar out of Tina.
Jungle Man fix Jane.
She wakes up later with some rocks in
Grammar.
her window, and if the elastic wall over Nancy is any indication, it looks like Freddy's trying to pay a visit. Nancy covers that shit with the man JC in the first instance of a Catholic connection to Fred Krueger that'll strangely grow throughout the series. We're only 15 minutes into the movie, and we're already about to get one of the most infamous scenes of horror. Tina wanders outside to confront her dream man, and when she steps into an alley, a fedora shadow
And they're
appears behind
barefoot?
her. It's Freddy
They're barefoot?
Krueger's first appearance, and it's dark and scary, and wait, what the fuck? Why does he look like Stretch Armstrong? No, seriously. Yeah, I mean, sure, the sparking finger knives are scary, and his first line's pretty cool.
Please, God.
Is God.
But then he's running like a drunk uncle playing around with his infant nephew as he chases Tina down the alleyway. I'm not trying to
Why
shit on
is she
Freddy's
running
first
like that?
appearance. I think it's awesome, and it's got
Oh,
a
he's
ton
right
of
there.
great moments, like when he shows off his masochism to Tina by slicing off his fingers, or when he rips off his face to reveal a creepy skeleton puppet behind it. But even those are a little silly. And I'm just pointing out that even from his
Does he
first
just like
appearance,
sharing
he's
people?
always had a little bit of goofiness to him. But
Little
unlike in
bit?
later films, this Freddy's still scary as fuck. Rod wakes up to find Tina thrashing around and is unable to see Freddy murdering her when her chest erupts open with 4 slash marks. Then she starts levitating above the bed and her body smacks Rod across the room. In
No
one
one's
of the
gonna
best
believe you.
kills I've ever seen, Tina is slowly dragged
Why
up
is
the
she-
wall of her room, which they accomplished by building a freaking rotating room and nailing down the furniture and cameras in place while they turned it. Tina winds up on the ceiling,
they
reaching
built
out to Rod for
a
help
room
as
that
he
rotated.
screams
That's
her
so
name, but there's
cool.
nothing he can do, and she falls to the bed dead. An amazing first kill to start a franchise with. Glenn and Nancy bust in the room to find
I wonder
Tina
how
dead on
much
the floor
time
and
they
Rod
spent on
nowhere to be
just
found.
that
So
scene.
Nancy goes to the police station where her dad, Lieutenant Donald Thompson, is taking on the case. He and her mom, Marge, don't get along, but they do agree on the fact that Rod's the murderer, even after Nancy says the earlier fight Tina and Rod had wasn't that serious.
Maybe you don't think murder is serious.
Oh, what
What?
the fuck, Marge? Don't mind her. She's probably just drunk. No, for real. The next
Wait,
morning,
really?
she's boozing for breakfast. She tries to get Nancy to stay
Fair
home
enough.
from school, but Nancy, sleep deprived from staying up, would probably rather learn geometry than get her makeup melted off by her mom's vodka breath. On the way to school, Nancy's being followed
that's-
by a cop and abducted by a greaser, which we call
Did
real
the cop-
source of a day.
the cop
Rod
not
tells
see that?
Nancy he's innocent, but before he can properly make
Also,
a
why
case,
is he
Lieutenant
not
Thompson
detained?
pops out, and Rod winds up being arrested in the middle
or-
of the road. Pop Thompson turns to Nancy and is like, "Great bait,
I guess he'd
mate.
be
Better get to
detained.
school before you're late." In demonology class with her teacher Elise
Or
Ranger,
under
Nancy
investigation.
has a hard time staying awake, even though the kid reading in front of the class is wearing the loudest shirt I've ever seen. But she eventually falls asleep, which gives us more fun dream stuff, like Tina in a bloody body bag saying "what up" to Nancy. When Nance follows her out into the hallway, we get another indelible image.
I've been
the body
watching,
bag being dragged away around the corner by an
Haunting of Hill
invisible
House
force. Nancy runs to follow
recently.
it, but she smacks into a hall monitor wearing a very
me and
familiar
Jackie have.
outfit.
Where's your pass? Screw your pass.
Better watch that attitude, Nancy. That monitor's been ordained in the Church of Finger Knives. Nancy follows the blood trail downstairs
No
into the
students
boiler
allowed.
room, where she runs into Fred Krueger for herself. He's still on that masochism kick and shows Nancy he's got a bunch of oozy maggots behind his nipples. Yuck. Then he comes after her and corners her in the boiler room. And the only way Nancy avoids his glove and his waggly tongue is by burning
Why?
herself against a hot pipe, which wakes
To wake
herself
her-
up out of the dream. She sees that her dream injury followed her into the real world.
How does
She
that
visits
work?
Rod in jail again to hear him out. He tells her that Tina died from 4 slashes all at once, and further elaborates that he's also
Fingernails.
dreamt of a guy with knives for fingers.
Wait,
And
he
Nancy
also
finally begins
dreamed?
to realize just how deep of shit they're all in, and it's pretty
Also, is it
deep.
just one
That night
hand
she's
to finger
enjoying
knives?
some tubby time with her favorite blue bath pillow when she falls asleep, and Freddy gets real suggestive with his glove. Before things can get explicit, Nancy's woken up by her mom warning her about sleepy people drowning in baths, but Nancy
fair.
doesn't heed
Yeah,
her
no,
warning
that's
and falls
fair.
asleep again. And this time, Fred gets straight to business and pulls her underwater, turning her tub into a deep blue sea and nearly drowning her in the bath. She's able to escape, but she ain't taking chances.
How-
Better break out
I
these
guess-
convenient stay awake pills behind the mirror. They act V-fast. She gets a bedtime visit
V-fast.
from Glenn, who still doesn't buy into all this dream murder stuff, so he's probably not the best person
Oh,
to ask
if
to
but
stand
Rod
guard for
believes.
you while you go on a dream journey, Nancy. But since he's the only option she has, they turn off the lights and she tells
What
him to
a-
wake
what
her
a
up
guy,
and
though.
start sleeping.
I mean, he
In
has
her
school
dream, she
tomorrow,
goes
too.
outside and winds up at the police station.
And he's
where
like,
she
yeah,
peeps in
I'ma
on
stay
Rod,
up
fast
and
asleep
watch.
on his jail cot. Oh, and look, he's got a visitor. Wonder if it's conjugal. Nancy starts calling out for Glenn, but to no avail. Then Tina shows up again and gets all buggy, spitting out centipedes and turning into eels and shit. This is what your dreams are like? What did you eat before bed, Nancy? Freddy pops out and
What'd
begins
you
another
eat?
chase sequence that leads Nancy to her
Didn't know
home,
what
where
your
she tries to run
dreams are?
upstairs
What?
only to find the steps have been turned into blocks of toothpaste. Freddy uses a very unconvincing mask and pretends to be Tina for a minute
Nancy, help me, please.
until he gets bored role-playing and just wants to be himself again.
Save me from
Nancy finally gets
Why
upstairs
does he
only
do
to find
the
Glenn
things that he
asleep.
does?
When she tries to wake herself up in the mirror, she instead gets attacked by Freddy, who jumps through it and pins her down on the bed. They have a feathery pillow fight, which looks like lots of fun. But before
It
Freddy can
does.
close the
What?
deal, Nancy's alarm clock goes off and wakes her up. She yells at Glenn because he had one job.
Stay awake.
When she sees a remnant of her Freddy fun time, she realizes Rod is in danger. They go to the police station but get held up by
Rod-
Nancy's dad, who's working late on the case. So they're unable to get back to Rod as he's being visited
What,
by
nobody's
Freddy
watching?
via a very phallic rolled up bedsheet that wraps around his neck. It
Oh,
tightens
no.
and strangles
Oh,
him
oh,
and
God.
drags him across the floor and up the wall to hang him to death. They all find Rod dead via hanging in the jail cell, giving us another
And they're
kill
gonna
to
think
chalk
that
up
he
on the
did it.
board. I guess he couldn't stay golden. After Rod's funeral, Nancy describes her dream stalker to her dad, who looks at Marge nervously as Nance goes into detail about the hat and the sweater and the finger knife glove. Mama Marge says it's time for Nancy to get help, so off to
Oh,
the
no.
Katja Institute for some
Katja?
science. Nancy goes to sleep under supervision, but when she slips into REM sleep, her charts start going all earthquakey, and she convulses violently in bed. Marge and the doctors wake her up to find 3 things. Number 1, Nancy's hair is now white. It just might remain that white for the rest of her
Wait, how did
life.
that happen?
I don't really have Hamilton lyrics for 2 or 3, but she's got a
Hamilton,
slash on
what?
her arm, and she's pulled Freddy's fedora out of her dreams and into reality.
What
For
happened in
Nancy,
her
how
dream?
will the lady his way around Dream World now? The next morning, after Nancy shows Marge the name Fred Krueger is written inside the hat, you know, in case Fred ever had a coat check, I guess. Marge says he's not a threat because Fred Krueger is dead, and Nancy gets real
So
mad
they know
that Marge
Freddy
has known
Krueger.
about
Wasn't
this
he,
dude
like,
the whole time.
burned
So
in that
mad
building
she
or
smashes
something?
Marge's handle on the floor. Oh, that liquor's coming out of your allowance, young lady. Later on, after a scene very obviously shot in Venice Beach, despite the film's apparent Ohio setting, Nancy comes home
Of
to
course
find the
it's
windows
in
on the house
Ohio.
and wrought iron bars covering them. Looks like Mama Marge got drunk and installed a new security system in what,
Just
single
that-
afternoon?
yeah,
And
about to
they
say-
say alcohol's a depressant. Marge takes Nancy down to the basement to finally fill her in on Fred Krueger's backstory.
He was a filthy child murderer who killed at least 20 kids in the neighborhood.
Oh, heavy shit. But note that here they only mention
Oh.
child murder. Still not great by any stretch of the imagination,
But
but it
what-
wasn't until the reboot that Freddy explicitly became even more of a monster. Nancy asks if the justice system did its job.
I don't know what-
Sounds like it didn't.
The lawyers got fat and the judge got famous, but somebody forgot to sign the search warrant in the right place, and Krueger was free just like that.
So Marge admits that the parents trapped Freddy in an old warehouse
Actually,
and burned
just-
the mother
that
down
sounds
with him
about right.
inside, killing him in the fire and taking for a death trophy his finger knife glove.
Some things
Nancy
haven't
calls
changed, I
Glenn,
guess.
who, oh yeah, lives across the street in a crop top paradise, and tells him who Freddy is and how she plans to kill him. She's gonna grab him and pull him out of her dreams into the
Oh,
real
now
world. And then
Glenn
I
can't
guess
climb
Glenn's
the window.
supposed to do the dirty work.
I grab the guy in my dream. You see me struggling, so you wake me up. We both come out. You whack
That's an
the
idea.
fucker, and we got him.
I still wouldn't be
I don't know
trusting
if
this dude
that's
after he fell
a
asleep
good
last
plan.
time, but Nancy gives him another chance and says to meet her on the porch at midnight.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Marge
I'd be
puts
great
Nancy
at
to bed
this.
and cleans up her coffeeware, not knowing that as soon as she's out of the room, Nancy about to pull out her backup supply to get another fix of that sweet, sweet Joe. When it gets closer to midnight, Nancy goes to sneak out, only to be thwarted by Marge breaking out her own backup supply.
Why
of
does she
essential
need
fluids.
to
She tries
hide
call
it?
Glenn, but that fucking fuck ass has fallen asleep again. So Glenn's
Bro.
dad answers the phone and tells Nancy to leave them alone, then takes the phone off the ringer so she can't call back anymore. Nancy gets a
Wow,
call back,
what if it's
though,
an
only it's a
emergency?
horrible nail screeching noise that causes her to rip the phone line out of the wall. That doesn't stop the phone from ringing again, though.
It's not connected.
Better take
The-
that
the
call,
first
man.
wireless
Must be pretty
phone.
important.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
Oh, tongue on the first kiss,
What
Fred.
the-
Slow that shit down. Nancy runs downstairs to find that she's been locked inside her own house by Marge, who's 2 sheets to the wind on the couch.
Blah, blah.
Then we finally
Oh,
get to see
she's
Glenn pay
crazy.
for never being able to stay the fuck awake when he gets sucked into his bed by Freddy's
Oh, he actually
arm.
dies.
His mattress
Okay.
turns into a straight up Serta sinkhole, and then a gory geyser as it
Serta.
erupts with blood, covering the ceiling and the walls of Glenn's room with his innards. It's a fascinating kill that used the same upside down
Yeah,
move
about
that
to
Tina's
say.
kill did, only this one got a little out of control, shocking some crew members with the electrified blood water and tilting the room off balance when the blood pooled to one side. Thus the even weirder imagery of all that blood sliding off at an angle. This kill is an absolute classic. After
Wait, so
Nancy's
that
dad gets
wasn't
to Glenn's
supposed to
house, she
happen
calls
like
him and
that?
tells him that now it's his job to whack the fucker when she pulls him out of her dream. But he just gives her some half-assed assurance that he will, then sends his deputy outside to keep an eye on her house. Now it's time for a Home Alone sequence. I feel like the 80s went on a real kick with kids and teenagers setting booby traps all over their houses. Anyone ever
Yeah,
see the
what
Bizarre
was-
Little Monsters with Fred Savage? Same type
No.
of shit, man. Of course, Nancy's traps have a bit more of a your next
A
edge to them. Before
sledgehammer?
the fun and games begin, she puts Marge to bed, and they have a heart-to-heart where they mostly make up. Yeah, Marge, maybe put down the bottle of bed vodka, huh? Leave it for the
Bed
morning. Hair of the
vodka?
dog.
It's always the
Nancy
same
sets
brand,
a couple
too.
of alarms and casts off to Dreamland. She goes to her dream basement where the dream finger knives are missing. Then a dream door leads her to a dream boiler room because when you have this place as a shooting location, you might as well get a lot of use out of it.
Yeah,
Freddy
fair.
shows up and chases her, scaring her off a platform that lands her back in her front yard. Right before her alarm goes off, though, he shows up again and she leaps
Right.
on him to try to bring him back to her
Oh,
world. She
because
wakes
if
up in
she's,
bed
like,
and it looks like,
grabbing-
well, it looks like nothing really happened. How do you explain that one, Nancy?
I'm crazy.
So she's gonna try to
Yeah.
drag him into this room.
Crazy like a fox. We get a great final girl sequence here, beginning
This
with
is the
Nancy Nancy smashing a glass over Fred's head. The cop across the street ignores her pleas for help, so Fred finds the time to escape her room, only to get hit in the stomach with her sledgehammer trap, fall backwards down the stairs, and trip over a wire, igniting a lamp full of gunpowder. God damn, Freddy, you clumsy as hell in the real world.
I mean,
they wind up in the
he's
basement
probably
where
fine,
Nancy
though.
douses Fred with gasoline and lights him on fire.
Oh,
you wouldn't like
he
Freddy.
doesn't like
if he's
fire,
on fire,
right?
'cause he's about 20 pounds heavier in the face, and it looks fucking weird. It's actually an amazing fire stunt performed by Tony Cesare, who did stunts in The Thing and played Ghostface in the first 2 Screams. Dude tumbles down the stairs while on fire, then begins to climb up them again, all of which was done in a single take. That's some Kane Hodder level stunt work.
The fact that there's somebody,
like
an actual person on fire.
They see her friggin' house is on fire. But if those burning footsteps are any indication, it looks like Freddy's escaped the basement and gone upstairs to go after Marge. Nancy walks in to find a flaming Freddy straddling her mother. And after Donald rushes in and puts out the fire with a sheet, they pull it back to find Marge's charred corpse floating over an eerie abyss.
And then just disappear.
Nothingness, and her death concludes with the bed returning to normal.
Don't you believe me?
Yeah, you kind of owe your daughter for life for this one, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Nancy sends her dad downstairs because she knows she's got to finish this shit. She turns her back to the bed and allows Freddy to rise up from it, tearing his way out of the sheets like an impatient, murdery newborn. But she tells him that it's too late for him to get her, and that the whole thing is just a dream.
I take back every bit of energy I gave you.
Quite a gamble. Let's see if it pays off. And it does. Wow. Unexpected static effects there. She walks out of the bedroom and right onto her front porch, where it's a sunny day and her mom hasn't yet been barbecued. Good deal. Oh, look, all her friends are alive too. Wow,
wait,
Nance, you made out like
it was
a bandit.
all a dream?
Should I take back all those kills from the count? Yeah, not so fast, first timers, because it looks like Glenn is driving a Fred's mobile, and it don't want that top down at all. To be honest, this whole end tag scene is kind of a senseless mess that was only tacked on due to producer Bob Shaye's insistence. Wes Craven was not a fan of watching a possessed car drive off with his heroine screaming. Even worse is what happens after Marge sees the Jump Rope Girls singing their one-hit wonder. Watch this mannequin in just a second. Oh god, it looks so bad. One last time in slow motion. Oof. Kind of a crap ending to stick on one of the greatest horror movies of all time. But you know what? It doesn't negate the kills. So let's see how many we've got at the numbers.
So, I don't... Was that all a dream too? Is everything a dream? What is real?
4 people died in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, which is low.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, not the lowest in the series. Of the victims, 2 were men and 2 were women, making Freddy a certified equal opportunity murderer. With a runtime of 91 minutes, that comes out to a kill on average every 22.75 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Glenn. It was tough between his and Tina's death, since they're both absolutely incredible.
But
this
the
one might
blood
have just
fountain.
won out because of the accidental slide all the blood does at the end. It just looks so damn cool. Dalmache for
Even though it
latest
wasn't
death
supposed to
Rod.
happen.
It's a fine kill, but compared to the other 3, it's the least memorable. And that's it. Nightmare on Elm Street was released in 1984 and single-handedly launched New Line Cinema into the big leagues of production companies. It also spawned a whole bunch of sequels, and we'll cover the first one, Freddy's Revenge, next Friday.
Freddy's
Until then, I'm
Revenge.
James H.
So that's the second one.
This
That's the
has
next
been
we're
Kill
doing.
Count.
We're
Thanks
doing
a lot for
both.
watching my kill count for A Nightmare on Elm Street. I want to thank a couple of my patrons like Patrick Janeway and Stefan Kalinowski. Due to me making a request too late, I had to settle for this plastic finger knife glove for this first video, but I have like an exact replica coming in the mail from RazorGloves.com. Special thanks to Chris.
Why is that a
for sending it
website?
my way, and I will be featuring the hell out of it in these videos. I'm also just really excited.
I mean, there's 9 of
Hope
them.
You are too.
Okay. Also, the crazy odds that I did the Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and then the next week he was like, oh yeah, I'm doing a recount for
And the
that.
shirt will make sense later. Today we're looking at
Why?
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. As soon as the original Nightmare made New Line executive Bob Shaye a buttload of money, he knew he wanted a sequel, so he ditched Wes Craven and bought a script from writer David Chaskin that had nothing to do with Nancy Thompson, and instead focused on a young boy named Jesse Walsh who moves into Nancy's house 5 years after her apparent defeat of
Okay,
Fred
we have
Krueger.
5 year time
Freddy's
skip.
Revenge has a rightfully earned reputation as one of the gayest horror movies ever made.
What?
The story goes that Chaskin wrote the
Pride Month.
screenplay with some homoerotic subtext that quickly became supertext during production, while the director and producers claimed they had no idea at the time. The whole thing was a major headache for actor Mark Patton, who was gay but not completely out at the time, as he played Jesse, a role he has since embraced as making him the first male Scream Queen. I friggin' love that a movie this gay managed to sneak its way into theaters in the middle of the Reagan era. But you know what else I love about it? The kills. So let's get to them.
Huh. That's
the movie
wild.
begins with a Bluebird bus rolling down a suburban street. Better
Bluebird
watch out,
bus? Is that what
driver.
those
You're
are
heading
called?
straight for a title car. Eventually,
well.
there's only 3 kids left on the bus. These 2 Valley girls and the hero of our story, Jesse Walsh, who's not exactly a popular guy.
He's the hero?
Girls take a break from laughing at Jesse when the bus blows by their stop
Hey, driver, that was my stop. Driver, that was my stop.
and keeps going straight into the freaking desert. Where did that come from? The bus zooms past some Joshua trees as a close-up shows us what we've already guessed by now. That bus driver is none other than Frederick Krueger. The bus skids
But
to a
it's just
stop
all a
The kids
dream?
watch out the windows as the ground opens up around them, eventually leaving the bus balancing precariously on a couple
This
of
is some
tall
Welcome to
box
Night Vale
tires
level
in a shot
stuff.
that looks straight out of Clash of the Titans. Freddy gets up to stalk towards the kids, laughing his Freddy laugh and fucking up the upholstery with his finger knives. When he goes in for the fatal slash, we cut to a tomato being sliced. That's fun. And the Walsh family hearing a scream from upstairs.
Why are they should definitely be
God,
more
I love
concerned.
Jesse's scream. He wakes up in a sweat, and in our first little dollop of, hey, this movie might not focus on the same kind of sexuality as most, Jesse stands up in his tighty whities, and the camera lingers long enough for him to adjust himself. He comes downstairs and gets disciplined by his dad for not having his room unpacked yet when their doorbell rings. It's their rich neighbor Lisa, and she's ready to go to school with Jesse.
Rich
and
neighbor
how rich
Lisa.
is she? Get a load of this pool in her backyard.
Okay.
Holy shit, Lisa, what do your parents do for work? With that kind
That's
of
not
wealth, I
that
don't know why
crazy
she's
of a
carpooling
pool.
with Jesse in his shithouse car that starts with
My
some
neighbor had
love
a pool.
mashing and leaves behind the
Not
smoke
that
monster
much
from
smaller than
Lost
that.
as it drives off. At school, Jesse and the boys are playing baseball, and my favorite character, Ron Grady, is up to bat. His hit winds up
What?
bonking Jesse on the head, and after that bonk,
Oh,
and
that's
Jesse
bad.
tagging Grady out, they get into a tiff that gives us our first man-ass of the movie. But not our last. They wrestle
Not
around
our
in the
last.
dirt some more like they're the best of friends until, oh shit, Adidas coming! Coach
That's
Schneider pulls the
why
two
the
apart
shirt.
with the first of many suggestive lines in this movie.
I'm guessing that was product
And assume
placement.
that they do. Kinda. Is that supposed to be a plank, boys? Get those butts out. As they lie there fucking up their lower backs, the two talk about how Schneider hangs out at S&M joints downtown, apparently, and end up becoming friends after some back and forth ribbing.
Look, Grady, you got some problem with me. No, bro.
What?
Just killing time.
In the locker room,
killing
Grady tells
time.
Jesse the history behind the house he's just moved into, about how a girl saw her boyfriend get murdered across the street and went crazy while locked inside by her mom. Sure enough, the house still has the Mama Marge bars on the window, and after
Up
Jesse
on-
can't
only on
sleep,
the
he
upper
goes downstairs and winds up
floor,
outside
right?
where he sees through the basement window Freddy messing around with his furnace. Hope you're gonna help with those heating bills, Mr. Krueger. Back inside, Jesse runs right into Freddy, darker and
Hello.
more serious than ever. In fact, this movie's probably got the least comical Freddy of the series, who growls to Jesse.
What
that
are they just like? Oh, let's make it scary.
I've got the brain.
Yeah, keep that screaming coming, dude. Jesse wakes up with no harm done,
Dude,
except for some
he
more sweat stains on his sheets. The next
sweats
day, Jesse tries
so
to meet up
much.
with Lisa, but Daddy Walsh says he has to unpack and clean his room instead.
Also the
Thanks,
U-Haul.
Dad, because you just gave us another bewildering sequence that begins with a cassette of Fonda Ray and another stealthy Adidas advertisement. With the help of some sunglasses, Jesse gets dance cleaning to a song called "Touch Me" all night long. And while mouthing those suggestive lyrics, we get some butt close-ups and some phallic mini-bat wiggling. It's a damn shame when his thrusting is cut off by his mom and Lisa entering his room. Hey, don't be ashamed, dude. Nothing wrong with pretending you got a mini-bat dick. After Lisa helps him finish cleaning, she finds something.
And then
in the
there's a
closet.
Nike
No, not
shoebox.
Jesse himself, nor that game hilariously named Probe, but a diary from 5 years ago that belonged to Nancy Thompson. When one of her entries mentions
Wait,
a
that
dude
was
named
just
Fred
there?
who's got steel claws and hangs out in a boiler room, Jesse goes catatonic, and before you know it, he's got the night sweats again. And the shit in his room is all melty? Well, that's what happens when you buy Crayola brand baseball helmets and records made of asphalt. He goes downstairs to the old furnace where he pulls out an early Christmas gift from Freddy.
Oh,
Open that shit
no.
up, Jesse. It's some authentic finger knives.
Does he,
We'll be
like,
down from
need to leave them
razorgloves.com,
there?
'cause Those gloves are
Is that,
dope.
like,
Freddy
how he
shows up and
comes
encourages
back?
him to have fun.
Try it on for size.
Jesse's able to resist Freddy, but not gravity. But even after Freddy disappears, that kill glove is still hanging out. At school, Jesse gives Nancy's diary to Lisa, and her friend Carrie
He's a
mentions
laser
Lisa's
prob now.
upcoming party, so I
Not,
guess we know
but-
where Act 3 is going to take place. Yo, but fuck seeing another day. Let's jump back to Jesse's home that night, where Mama Walsh puts the
birds.
family birds to bed, only for the birdcage to start shaking all crazy. Jesse unveils the animals,
Hey,
and
it's your
finds
Freddy
one of them
Krueger.
dead and the
Oh.
other stone cold crazy, you know. It flies around doing
How
some
did it get
great
out?
bird acting, friggin' drifting and shit, before it suddenly spontaneously combusts.
Why did
What?
it's the
bird
bird?
bomb? At least that's what Mr. Walsh thinks, blaming Jesse for the whole thing as though
How do
blowing
you
up birds is
blame
just a
that
responsible
on
boy prank.
him?
Hey, how about another scene with Jesse waking up sweaty? Here you go. Once again, he wanders downstairs, but this time some random kitchen lightning convinces him to take a walk
Hate it when that
outside in
happens.
the rain. His wet night stroll leads him to Don's place, a kinky leather bar where there are no less than 2 David Bowies hanging out. Sign me up. Working the bar is producer Bob Shea in a leather-tastic cameo, and he gives Jesse a beer without even carding this baby face. But as Jesse goes to drink
Then
it, he
a
runs
card
into
to get
some trouble.
into the
It's Coach
place?
Schneider. Oh shit, Adidas coming. Schneider takes Jesse to the school and makes him do laps. A weird after-hours punishment made
Yeah.
even weirder by the fact that he doesn't even change out of his daddy outfit to dole it out. Come on, dude, your sweet friggin' Adidas shirt is
Why?
hanging right there. Stuff in his office starts getting all spooky, and he gets a bunch of balls thrown at him, which, to be fair, is probably how he expected this night to end anyway. Hey, a jump rope puts him in bondage and starts dragging him out in the office. Hit the shower, Schneider. Slides right in there next to Jesse and is then magically stripped
Is he-
for another man-ass occurrence. Maybe this episode should be the man-ass count, where we tally up the man-asses and all our
Is there
favorite
more
Freddy
of that
scenes.
than
Schneider gets
kills?
flogged by towels as Jesse watches, and right as you're starting to feel
Why is
bad
he
for the
just-
guy, Freddy joins the party to make things even weirder.
Oh,
He raises his glove and slashes him across the back. Cue shower
Ah.
spraying out blood. Cue
Ah.
one more shot of man-ass, and cue Jesse with the Freddy glove on his hand.
Oh,
Tell us how this sudden turn of events
he
makes
really
you
likes
feel,
making him go
Jesse.
crazy.
Normally after a scene like this, the protagonist wakes up in bed, but instead, Jesse's parents answer the door to find him in the middle of a Springwood PD sandwich. The cops say they found him outside wandering around naked, and his parents are pretty concerned, thinking he's taking some serious drugs. But the only thing Jesse's on is Special K, and that K is for Kruger. The next day, there's a bunch of cops at school, and Grady tells Jesse that Coach Schneider was found dead in the showers. But instead of seeing Jesse go through another day, why don't we cut straight to the chase and get more shots?
Wait, really? We just there's nothing else that
and,
just goes straight to nighttime?
Straight down to his junk? Perfect. And for any straight guys complaining about how this is super gay, which it totally is, just think about how every other movie shoots the female characters like this. You can live with one movie catering to the ladies and gay dudes. It's okay. It ain't gonna hurt you. Jesse opens his desk drawer to find a very active.
Why is it moving? Why is it moving?
Voice inside his head. He goes into his sister's room where he finds her practicing to audition for the jump rope girls.
There's not enough room to jump rope in there.
I think she'll make the
So
cut.
high
And
is your
now
ceiling?
it's morning. God damn,
Yeah.
this movie just plows through days and nights. Jesse and Lisa drive to an old power plant where Lisa says Fred Krueger used to work. Hey, what do you mean by work, Lisa?
Fred Krueger kidnapped 20 kids and brought them here and killed them.
I think that was more of like a hobby for him. It's not like a paid.
Yeah, I don't think it
Lisa asks
paid.
Jesse if he feels anything, but even though he doesn't, she does. That bod of his, that is. Then we're back in the Walsh basement where the furnace kicks off a first-person POV shot that goes upstairs and into Jesse's sister.
Is this gonna be Freddy Krueger?
She does, but she seems pretty chill. Probably because it's just her sweaty bro Jesse. And if she's anything like this movie's audience, she's already seen that shit 1,000 times. Oh,
True.
He is wearing that finger knife glove. Better
Why?
hide that from sis, dude. He goes to his room and uses Sta-Up pills and Coke to get through the night.
Stop.
The Santa Claus Coke, not the nose candy kind. Let's get to the party that
looks
was
like-
promised, where
nope,
Lisa's dad is
nope,
playing
that's not
old-timey
it.
jazz and serving up burgers to his daughter's teenage friends. Mom does Lisa a solid and carts her dad off to bed. And as soon as those crazy kids see the lights go off in the parents' bedroom, they crank up the tunes and break out the
Yeah,
beat.
as if they just
Apparently,
go to
forgetting that
sleep.
sound waves tend to travel.
Yeah, about to
Lucky for
say.
them, Lisa's
Yeah.
mom don't give a fuck.
What?
Meanwhile, Jesse sulks himself into the cabana and Lisa follows to talk to him. Check out this fun little bit of filmmaking with some ferns casting a finger knife looking shadow against the wall in front of Jesse's silhouette. Well done, director. The kids end up making out, but right as Jesse begins to board the USS motorboat, things get weird. Yeah, maybe save that party trick for a little later, Jesse. No need to pull out all the stops right away. His Gene Simmons simulation leaves him feeling freaked out, so he runs off, leaving Lisa alone on the cabana floor so he can break into Grady's room and get up close and personal. He tells Grady, who's got some dope-ass posters in his room.
Why are they
Frank's
why are they
Apple one
crooked
and
though?
Bowie one, even though Tonight was definitely a bottom 3 album. Bottom 2 if you don't count Tin Machine. That he killed Schneider
I have
and
no
nearly
idea
killed his
about
sister.
any of
Something
those.
is trying to get inside my body. Yeah, and she's female and she's waiting for you in the cabana. And you want to sleep with me.
But their lover's quarrel dies down, and Jesse puts Grady
That's-
in blended, telling him to wake him up if it
That's a
looks like
predicament.
things are going wrong. But let's be real, man. It's 1985. There ain't no Reddit to browse or Netflix to watch, and at this time of night, ain't shit on TV. So what's a young Grady supposed to do to stay awake? Yeah, he doesn't know.
Is his
either,
bed
so
frame
he
like
goes
a
to bed
weight
and goes to
rack?
sleep. Jesse wakes up, which wakes up Grady, and although it looks like Jesse just has some indigestion, it's actually way worse than anything Pepto-Bismol can solve. He's got nails growing out of his fingers.
Yeah.
And his whole friggin' arm
Was that
is
like
erupting into
Wolverine?
nastiness. Ew. Grady pounds on the door to get out, but I spy with my back of throat eye something that tells me Grady gon' die. It's Freddy's freaking face coming
Or is
out
this
of
all a
Jesse's
dream?
torso like it's a bedroom wall without a crucifix. Yo, Jesse, how about giving the guy some air? Thank you. That's more like it. Freddy comes out of his Jesse shell and stretches.
That's a
Living inside
different kind of
teenage boy
chest
that long
burster.
will give you such a crick in the neck. Freddy, true to part 2's darker focus on terror, cracks no jokes as he grabs Grady by the throat and raises him against the door. Next thing you know, finger knives are busting out the other side and Grady's spitting up blood. The stabbing takes place just below screen, but it's still a cool way to shoot this kill, and we get the gore we're looking for when Grady's body slinks to the floor. Freddy waves at himself in the mirror, but wait a minute, he's not himself, he's Jesse. I bet seeing your friend dead like that makes you want to scream,
did
huh, Jess?
Jesse do that? I'm guessing that's what
Right?
happened.
Well, that's a bummer. Jesse tosses his murder weapon at the mirror, and after hearing some sirens come around, pieces out through the window. He goes back to Lisa's place, and she
Yeah,
is
no,
way too
he's-
knocked
I don't know if he
up
can
by
beat these
twitchy, covered in
allegations.
blood, straight up admitting to murder.
I killed Grady. Lisa, I killed Snyder.
Jesse, what are you talking about?
Dog, he literally just said he killed 2 people. That's what he's
I
talking
mean,
about.
honestly,
Get the fuck
that's
out of there and call the police.
very
Out back at her
apt
pool
way
party,
to
things are heating
describe
So what's going
or
on
react
here?
to
An
that.
orgy or something?
Haha, no, Rod. I'm talking about the temperature of the pool. And these wieners. Then the beer starts blowing up, probably from being carted
why are they
around
already
with a
open?
friggin' radio flyer, and all sorts of shit gets crazy. It's mostly things blowing up, but the kids also get locked in the pool area, which will be bad news Krugs later. Lisa tells Jesse
Bad
that
news
according to the
Krugs.
good book of Nancy, all he has to do to fight Freddy is not give him any more energy. But then the poltergeist shit starts happening in their
Oh, no,
room,
not the
and all of a
fish.
sudden, Jesse's no longer there.
He can't fight me. I'm here.
A chase ensues where we get classic Robert Englund physicality. He even bites into her ankle like it's corn on the cob. Lisa gets away and grabs a knife to defend herself with against Freddy, who's
okay.
having a real temper tantrum and
Well,
declaring that he has
he's
a
like
new
a cat and
identity.
he's just knocking things off.
Also, Freddy's look varies slightly from movie to movie, and I kind of like how meaty and wet he looks in this one. He tells Lisa that killing him will kill Jessie too, and maybe that's why her stabs are so half-assed. He grabs her with his sausage fingers, and both his personalities get tender for a moment.
I love you, Lisa.
I love you, Lisa.
But then he tosses her across the room and heads outside to kill some
Why?
chickens. Freddy's
Why
body
did he
count
just
throughout the
leave?
series is notoriously low, but if you ever want to watch him go on a killing spree, buckle up, because this is the one time he does.
All
He
of
crashes
them?
through the door and
But isn't it
disappears,
all
so
just a
reemerges
dream anyway?
poolside. And goddamn, is it weird to watch Freddy among a whole group of people in the real
Okay,
world?
they could
when
definitely
he
jump
does
over
killing on an
those
individual
fences
basis
easily.
in the dream world. But let's not look a kill horse in the mouth. Let's just count these boys up. First is a dude he corners against the fence and slashes
You
in the
can
face.
jump
Bam,
over
dude
the
goes down.
fence. You
Another
can
guy gets
climb
shot
that.
by the fence, although he's okay.
Oh, it's
But when
electric
these two
fence?
people
Oh,
fall into
okay,
the
that
boiling
makes
pool
sense.
and then the pool
Why
catches on
electrify
fire,
that fence, though?
Yeah, I'm gonna count those two. Fire's popping up everywhere, and although these people get away in time, I'm gonna say this chick, and yes, that's a lady, look at that boob right there, isn't so lucky since she falls into a spot that immediately goes up in flames. Another guy gets trampled and his neck audibly broken, so that makes
What?
5 kills here. And then Stripey McStriperson runs gut first into
Okay, it's
some
way
finger
too many
knives
stripes,
to bring
my guy.
Fred's kill streak up to 6. What is that, an airstrike? Freddy takes a breather, and
airstrike.
you know what? Maybe he's done for the night. At least this dude seems to think so, since he
What,
approaches Freddy like he's
Precision
Jonathan
airstrike was
Groff
7,
talking
wasn't
down
it?
a hostage situation.
Just tell us what you want, all right? I'm here to help you.
It doesn't go.
I don't think you are.
Self fucker!
He gets slashed and tossed against the grill, which doesn't look all that lethal, but
Why'd
I'll
he
count it
spin?
anyway, because this is the only chance Fred will have to bring home these kinds of numbers. The kids look on in horror as Freddy tells them about his mass adoption plans.
You are all my children now.
Then Lisa's dad shows up with a gun, but she stops him from
Is
shooting
that-
Fred because of the whole Jesse possession thing. Freddy takes the hint that he's not wanted at this party and leaves through the fiery hedge door that every rich backyard has. Lisa takes off to follow him, correctly
But they're
surmising that
neighbors.
he's gone back to the old power plant he used to work at. Too bad the place is being guarded by some creepy fucking dogs wearing Happy Death Day masks. What the fuck?
What?
Lisa just walks right past them, so whatever, I guess. She walks around the
I've actually
plant
seen
in this
Happy
awesome,
Death
super
Day.
far away shot, and eventually Freddy gets in her face and corners her. She pleads for Jesse to come out of Freddy's body, saying that she loves him and shit, and it looks like that plan is working since Freddy starts oozing blood. He winds up in a corner of the boiler room, collapsing in weakness as Lisa continues to kill him with kindness, saying she's not afraid
So
of him.
is
and
he
that she
like- I'm
loves
guessing
Jesse,
he's like a
and he can
possession
come out
thing,
and
like,
out
through the
whenever he
dream.
wants, blah, blah, blah. Get to the gross kiss. Yeah, make out with that child murderer. Slip in the tongue, Lisa. That'll get Jesse out even quicker. Fred
I'm
tosses
just
her away
imagining
and
the
then fire
texture.
surrounds him. It starts burning everywhere, in fact, and Freddy begins to melt as Lisa watches on. That's some good melty Freddy face. He erupts completely into flames and his body falls to the grated floor. After the fire goes out, the charred body left behind begins to move, and it turns out that it's Jesse. Oh, good, Lisa.
wait,
you got
it all
him back,
just
in
went
time for
away?
him to be tried for at least half a dozen murders in the first. Yeah,
Yeah.
hug him real tight there. He'll need
I don't
his
know where
memory
the
when he's
law
in
is gonna
prison for the
protect
rest
him
of his
there.
life. We're back where we started, with a school bus driving down a suburban street.
With 3
Jesse's
kids on
sitting
it?
with
No.
Lisa and Carrie, who seems to be totally cool with having just seen a bunch of her classmates get murdered the night before.
That was a really great party.
But then the bus starts speeding down the street and Jesse freaks the fuck out, telling the driver to stop, which he does. Jeez, Jesse, you want to tell this guy how to do his goddamn job?
Yeah,
Sit your ass down, or he will put your ass down.
He-
Lisa
that-
and
a little bit
Carrie
of an
assure
outburst.
Jesse that everything's cool now.
It's all over.
It's not.
Boom!
Chest
One more
burster.
kill to count up, even though I'm not sure if this is a dream or if it counts or whatever.
I don't
but
know.
I'm giving it to him because
This is a weird place for the kill
Bus
count.
going on another off-roading adventure as Freddy laughs and laughs and laughs. But while they're busy with their camping trip, we've got to get to the numbers.
Is that the real looking one that he got in the mail?
10 people died in Freddy's
Get the
Revenge, the only
insurance.
solo Freddy film to reach double-digit kills.
The
The
only?
victims included 7 dudes and 3 ladies, more than 2 to 1 guys, and with a runtime of 86 minutes, that leaves us with a kill on average every 8.6 minutes. I'll give the golden.
Well, a
Chainsaw
lot of them came at
Kills
once,
kill
but
collectively
let's say it's
to
pretty
those
spread
first 6
out.
partiers that get killed. I know it's weird to see Freddy at a pool party, but it's also kind of fun to see him use all his tricks.
Oh,
to take
people were
down a bunch of
diving
kids
into
at
the
once.
water?
Well, machete for
Did they
Langland's
think Freddy
kill will
can't
go to the
swim?
7th guy, the negotiator dude, since he just got whipped into a grill. And that's it. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, came out in 1985, a year after the original. And although I'm a fan, some people prefer to skip it and go straight into the 3rd film, Dream Warriors, which we'll be covering
Dream
next week.
Warriors.
Until
I'll be
then, I'm
covering
James A. Janice.
the 3rd and
This has been
4th
Kill
one
Count.
next week, I'm
Thanks a lot
guessing.
for watching my kill count for Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
The Thing?
This Freddy
Oh,
glove
God.
comes
Favorite
from
scary movie?
razorgloves.com. You might have heard me plug them in the video.
Yeah.
Christopher Grantner sent these to me, and they are absolutely amazing. These are just a plastic piece of shit. This is the real deal, man. Compare and contrast. I just want these in the background for this one so I can surprise you with these ones. From now on,
makes
these
sense.
are gonna live up here. None of this shit.
That's actually rather cool. So next one's gonna be a Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, and then the Dream Master. I don't know why he needs sunglasses. Did they really put out 4 movies in 4 years? Wait, 84, 85, no 86. There's 87 and 88. So I guess that's technically 5. Wait, what? I'm guessing it's 5 years technically. Wow. Okay. So, but this one has the most views out of all of them, even though it's apparently the one that people say to skip. I wonder why that is. Well, I mean, it does kind of make sense. We just came from watching It Chapter 1, where Pennywise, or the new movie for It, with Pennywise, you know, really just scaring people. And he just doesn't, like, necessarily need to kill them. He just needs to scare them. And then Freddy is just kind of like a meme. Freddy and Chucky, I guess, are very kind of like similar-esque. Like, if you enjoy Chucky, you'll probably enjoy Nightmare on Elm Street. Or Child's Play, I guess you would enjoy A Nightmare on Elm Street. So this was certainly something. I look forward to watching more of these. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it made your day a tiny little bit better. I look forward to reading your comments, because I do read every single one of them. Also, shout out to the patrons, because they got the videos there early, and I really couldn't do this if it was not for them. But I hope to see you in the next video. But until then, take care, and kitty music.
We were playing